The roast is back on. I'm Chris Cordani. Angie Wong here. This is Prime Roast. Welcome once again. Angie, a week after the election, a week plus after the election, the meltdowns continue over every little thing Donald Trump does, from, appointing cabinet members to breathing.
Yeah, and it's funny that liberals have to take to the internet to record themselves exploding. I don't know why anyone would do that. Like, what, you're at your worst possible moment, and you would think to flip on your phone and make a video of yourself. It's the strangest kind of therapy to me, but clearly this is something that they do. They want to show you how angry they are. They're going through the different stages of grieving, except for the acceptance part. They're never going to accept it. So this is just week one since Trump has won. So I wonder what they're going to do for the next 4 years.
Well, week WEEK, one for us, WEAK, one for them, and there are many more to continue. It's amazing how people just would document themselves and their mental breakdowns, and document their mental illness, document their stupidity for all to see. What do they think? It's not going to last? The internet is forever. They're going to find out soon, especially when it comes to looking for a job. But that's another. Well,
Ooh.
maybe they won't be looking for jobs. That's why they enjoy the liberal pathogen that they seem to walk outside and just volunteer to catch, if you will.
Yeah, no, the woke virus is real, you guys. I hope that HHS and the incoming secretary will do something about this. I don't know. I mean, I don't think all the drugs in the world is going to make this go away. I mean, look, I welcome all those people going out to Canada and leaving the country. You should go see the world. I think that's going to be really good for you. I think stepping outside the U.S. for a while might do some mental healing. So bye.
Yeah, and if you don't want to come back, that's okay with us too. In fact, if you talk about maybe a cure for this liberal pathogen, maybe an injection of reality. How about this? Since they love forced mandates and vaccines so much, we can force or mandate a vaccine of reality into these people, and maybe the liberal pathogen will just go away.
I wish there was such a cure. I doubt it. I mean, you would literally have to do some sort of lobotomy to make that whole thing go away. I don't know. It's in too deep, Chris. It's like in the blood now. I don't know what it's going to take. Maybe 4 really good years. Where there's great economic boom and there's American prosperity, maybe that might help. But I don't even think that they want that. I mean,
No,
they
no,
want this whole thing to fail anyway. So
right.
here we have another video of another liberal wanting the U.S. to fail because it's not her version. And that's where there was a study done, and I think it was Nate Silvers who published this study about why liberals lost this round. And when he actually dived into a lot of the voters, a lot of it he found that Republicans and conservatives were okay to hear an opposing view. We actually welcome that, right?
Yeah,
Whereas liberals cannot have anyone go against their beliefs. It's like their beliefs, all or nothing. And that's what's causing the depression. And that's what's causing the psychoticness that we're seeing all over TikTok these days.
Right. And virtue signaling like they do, it's easy to do. It takes no sacrifice. And it just shows, it lets you show off that you care about others. When in fact, virtue signalers are very selfish voters. All they do is they're basically voting to show everybody else how sensitive they are, how much they love other people without really doing anything. And they'll condescend to you and call you uneducated if you don't disagree with, or if you do disagree with them. In fact, when they call you uneducated, they like to imply that you know nothing. They want to imply that you're stupid. But of course,
Yeah.
the left's version of educated are those gender studies degrees and whatever else and the like. However, it's been a sad day for America today. I'm not talking about the election. I'm not talking about some of the meltdowns, but it's a very sad week for the U.S. and for people who use X. Do you know why?
Why?
Because, and I'm very sad. I should probably just record a video about this. Wait, I am doing that right now, but I mean a phone video for the TikTok like the kids use, right? Joy Reid has left TikTok. No, the X. Joy Reid has left X. I don't think she's leaving TikTok, but she left X.
What?
TikTok is for her, but Joy Reid has left X. And that makes me
Why?
sad.
By the way, I didn't even know she was on X, but okay,
Yeah.
that's great. Good to know. So she's decided to leave what she would call the conservative platform, the MAGA platform. She can no longer contribute to this kind of, I don't know, public discussion. Oh,
And she explains a little bit here too, and I really feel bad for her.
Hey guys, so today I finally did something I've been meaning to do for a while. And the reason for doing it, and kissing goodbye my 1.9 million followers over there, is because I hadn't been posting for a long time. I just didn't want to contribute content.
Oh, gee, you know what? I didn't notice that either. I
mm,
I mean, I like watching her. I like watching her on MSNBC because she's always good for a laugh or two. But
yeah.
this whole thing about it, she's posting like a millennial or some kind of Gen Zer, where she's, oh, look at me. I'm going to tell you all that I'm leaving a social media platform because that's what I'm doing. I'm patting myself on the back over this thing.
Yeah. Okay. Bye, Joy. I mean, I didn't even know you were on, but
Let's hear some more from her.
I just didn't want to contribute content once it was purchased by its present owner. But just having it there, I was only holding on to it because I, really didn't want someone trying to take over that name.
No, she liked it because she wanted the attention. She wanted to get back there. And yes, I understand there's a mentality that, oh, Elon Musk owns it now. Now there's free speech and people are going to challenge us. Well, if you don't like that, just like what you said, Angie, they don't like hearing from other people's opinions. They'll dismiss anything else because they think they're always on the moral high ground.
it's incredible how much money these guys have spent on like master's degrees, but yet their brains are so inflexible to any opinion but their own. It is pretty incredible what our colleges have done. I mean, I think I've paid for a few expensive degrees as well, but you have to have mental flexibility to understand the world. These guys can't do it. And they live in the microcosm of social media where they just keep echoing each other. It's this whole ecosystem has to get destroyed.
Well, let's hear the rest of this. I'm always curious about why these people leave X. You know what? It's one of those things where, well, if we're not going to leave the country because it's so less comfortable leaving the country, we'll keep all the comforts and just leave a social media platform.
And using it for nefarious purposes. I was a little bit worried about that.
Okay, nefarious purposes. You mean like, oh, I don't know, not censoring people who disagree with the far left? That's nefarious enough for her.
Yeah, again, she delivers it in a way where she's smiling about it and she's happy to be leaving X. Is she telling other people to leave X? Okay, great. I'm glad she made a personal diary entry. Fantastic. Is anyone really like bothered by this? I'm not.
No, but it's a sad day. I'm bothered by it because it really hurts that she doesn't want to. She doesn't want to like post to me or anybody on X anymore. It's such a sad day.
Yeah, well, I'm sure she'll do
And
better
also every
another
so
time.
often I would use it to just like sort of look at news that was trending and what's happening. And I would just sort of use it as like an aggregator. But I just realized that that's not really worth it because in order to like do the news aggregation and just look at all, you have to wade through a lot of dreck and a lot of just
Wade through a lot of trick. You mean wade through the truth to validate your own lies.
Remember, Joy Reid makes millions of dollars on her television network pushing her lies and propaganda, right? So she only wants to see her side of the story because it reaffirms everything that she says on air. Anything that opposes that, well, she won't make her millions if she doesn't keep up with her character that she plays on TV.
Exactly, and we'll go back a little bit on this one. She's the one that is telling people not to engage with her families, not to engage with others. There was also one where she's TikToking to the kids, telling black women not to engage with white women. She's pretty much she went full racist, but also she's just full anti-family. I want to give you my take on this after we hear a little bit on Joy, but I want to hear yours too, of course. That's why we're here roasting.
How do you interact with people who voted for this? Right? If you are an LGBTQ person and someone in your family voted essentially against your rights, or you're a woman knowing that, this man was calling people the B word.
Angie, I voted for Donald Trump and I'm very sorry because you as a woman should be really angry at me. According to Joy Reid.
I mean, if she's trying to shame people because they voted differently than her, who's her audience who like nods their heads listening to this? You can't have your own individual opinion. You can't have your own individual thought. Oh, what does that remind you of? Oh, communism. Oh, no, that's the wrong state. We live in the United States of America. That doesn't exist here. I can vote for Donald Duck if I wanted to. In fact, I might even write that name in because that's an option that I have as an American-born Chinese. So thank you very much.
Isn't that kind of like a hanging Chad or something like that, voting for Donald Duck? I don't know.
Yeah,
A
no, I
hanging
probably
duck.
wouldn't do that unless I had to. But
Uh,
I always wanted to write in a name. I never had the courage to write in a name before. I don't think I did anyway, but I think it'd be fun. I mean, there's certainly races where I'm like, oh, I hate both candidates. Well, like why not write in a name? I don't know.
yeah, why not? I mean, I thought about that too. You could write me in. How about that? How about next election, write Chris Cordani and see what happens. I'll probably get all of 3 votes out of this one.
But Chris, I want you to run for something. You should get involved in politics. You're really good and you can deliver sensibility and common sense to your constituents. I mean, that's what we need more of in the United States right now. There's so many races coming down the pipeline. We need good candidates. Please consider running if you're halfway decent. Look, if nothing else, just so you can stick it to Joy Reid, who's telling you right now, if you're a woman, if you're, a person of color and you didn't vote the way I voted, shame on you. Well, why does anyone give her the platform to say that? I mean, does that like bring on advertisers? I don't understand why she could still say that after Donald Trump overwhelmingly won the popular vote and the trifecta of the White House, the Congress, and the Senate. I mean, her voice actually is so diminished now that she should get off X. She should get off all the platforms that she's on because her messaging doesn't work. It's
Well,
wrong.
I like to keep her around for a few laughs. I keep them on. We need the left to be on social media. We need these meltdowns. We need this kind of horrible commentary. How would our show exist without the left?
I'd like to elevate ourselves, Chris. I'd like to think that we have better things to talk about, like policy.
Wait
But
a minute.
maybe
Wait, this is prime roast. We're supposed to roast people. If somebody
I,
pulls off terrible policy, we have to roast that. And that's what we're doing. And by the way, did you know that Lawrence O'Donnell, I'm gonna step back. I would ask you this, but I want you to hear what this man said just recently on MSNBC. I want you to hear it. I just want you to hear this little clip here and tell me what's wrong with it.
Donald Trump also announced, as Rachel and I were discussing, that Tom Homan will be a so-called border czar. We do not know what that means.
Did you just hear that? Did you hear MSNBC? Lawrence O'Donnell just telling us that he doesn't know what a border czar is. Although I believe that word has been mentioned a lot of times over the last 4 years by several on MSNBC.
Yeah, Tom Homan is so hot. I can't believe he gets to be our border czar. I'm just gonna say I'm such a fangirl of Tom Homan. He's he's like Mr. Alpha Man. He's gonna save this country, our northern and southern borders. He is gonna do what it takes to get this country right. I think Tom Homan is absolutely right when he says a lot of our current problems happening in America right now stems from the open borders. All the problems we're having with the public schools, all the problems we're having with housing, inflation even, a lot of it does stem from these open border policies and a lot of, 14 million illegals coming through that we have to feed and house and take care of, right? So it's going to be hard to watch, Chris. I will tell you, it is hard to watch, and he's doing some dirty work. I mean, not dirty in politics. It's just, to see people having to be loaded up on buses and trains, that conjures up a certain historical image and then being shipped back. Like, I get it. It's necessary and we have to do it, especially some of the gang violence that we've seen. They have to be the first to be flown out. I will personally pay for airline tickets for these guys to leave all the states because honestly, we cannot have that. But Tom Homan being border czar, I mean, look, he will have an official title, right? It's not just going to be border czar. Remember, he was the acting former director of ICE.
That's
Is
technically
that more? Is that
that's
better
what's
for you,
going to happen.
Lawrence?
That's
Yeah.
what's going to happen. He'll be in charge of the border. This Lawrence O'Donnell actually said with a straight face that he and the staff at MSNBC don't know what a border czar is. I
They
mean,
have
think about this.
short
Remember,
memories.
we had a border czar for 4 years, or didn't we? Or nearly 4 years, and she was a complete failure. Of course, that was the border czar up until the campaign, where she was never the border czar. So they keep saying they said she was the border czar 3.5 years ago, and there's a compilation going where MSNBC anchors were using the term for her, and then recently saying, well, she was never the border czar, and now they have no idea what a border czar is. This is a complete meltdown from the left. And again, not just because of Donald Trump's election, but because of who he's picking for the cabinet. They are terrified. The left, the deep state, they're all terrified of a few things. One, that things will get straightened out. And two, that the government will be slashed quite a bit. And oh, wait, another thing. There will be people who have been fighting the deep state for a long time now within the Beltway and can expose them at will.
Yeah, I would like to ask Lawrence what he's so afraid of exactly. The fact that there's someone who protects our borders, well, that's the Border Patrol, right? I mean, we've always had protections of our borders. That's what makes a country, is to have borders. So why now is he can't sleep at night and having nightmares about this? This makes no sense. I mean, maybe he's just doing it for content because he's got to fill up, half an hour of his show, and he just likes to talk nonsense. But like, the fear mongering doesn't make sense. It's one thing to be successful in fear mongering, but when you just take it one step further, well, that actually doesn't make any sense. I don't think he's fear mongering anybody anymore. How come the left, Chris, has not learned their lessons from election 2024 yet? I mean, I know it's only been a week and they're a little slow. Okay. They may not be the most smart or intelligent, strong people, but
common sense. Don't forget that.
When will they learn that what they're doing just really doesn't work? Really, really doesn't work, to the point where they've lost the branches of government.
Angie, it's not only the far left that's melting down over this. The neocons are as well. Let's go to MSNBC for this. And John, I always think of him as Michael Bolton, but John Bolton yammers on about Matt Gaetz being picked for Attorney General. And of course, that's another controversial pick.
Well, it must be the worst nomination for a cabinet position in American history.
It must be the worst nomination for a cabinet position in American history. Does he not remember Hillary Clinton? Play this game.
Good one.
The left is going on about Pete Hegseth because a Fox News host is being nominated for to run the Pentagon. This is a 20-year veteran. He's a combat veteran. He knows national security in and out. The man's brilliant. He should be running the Pentagon. But of course, these people nominate a former first lady who's a short time in the Senate just because they wanted to get her in there. That's the whole thing. That was the definition of unqualified or worst pick for a cabinet seat.
I'm keeping quiet on this one. I know it's a show we're on. I can't keep quiet. But look, there are political reasons for all of these picks. I mean, I like Pete personally, Fox Pete, I call him, mainly because he's a Washington outsider. And I think that is exactly what the Trump administration needs. You can't have anyone going in on day one with a bunch of IOUs from the military industrial complex, or someone who's angling for the CEO job of Boeing when he exits, right? You need someone who's a complete outsider who understands the operations of running a department like the defense. But again, it's not just going to be him running it. It's going to be a lot of lieutenants as well who understands the ins and outs of running the defense. Fox Pete is going to be the face of it, and he's a Trump loyalist. So I get that play. Where you're going to hate me, Chris, is that, and I'm not a neocon.
Wait. I don't hate anybody. This is not a hateful show. I am the epitome of love.
Okay, well, the epitome of love.
I'm like Pygar the angel from Barbarella. That's how much that's how much of an epitome of love I am. I'm Pygar.
Okay, I don't know that cultural reference. I'm sorry. But I will tell you, I've been on air since yesterday agreeing with John Bolton. That's why you might hate me, because I agree with him. I don't believe Matt Gaetz is qualified for this job. I know the Florida politics behind it. I would be very, very surprised if Matt Gaetz gets any sort of Senate confirmation for the role of Attorney General. I don't see the math working out at this time, although he does have 70 days plus to romance a lot of senators to voting his way. So, I don't put it past him. Even President Trump has said if Matt Gaetz can get to January, he can have the job. So that tells me right there that even President Trump doesn't even know if he's going to be able to pull through all the wolves on the Hill to get the nomination. And I think we're up to number seven senators who have said publicly they're a hard no on Matt Gaetz. Look, I'm a MAGA girl, but on this one, I will say not sure.
I'm going to disagree on this because Matt Gaetz is the guy who will just, again, take a hammer to things that are going on inside the Department of Justice. He'll take people down if they're going to become moles for the deep state. He's going to, again, there are going to be a lot of people. We saw Javier Milei with the hammer. I love the hammer. Javier Milei was better with the hammer than what that friend of the Pelosi's or whatever. But again, different story, different day. But these guys, there's going to be a lot of guys taking a hammer to the government. And Matt Gaetz, whether he is nominated or not, this shows that Donald Trump has the ability to troll not only the far left but the neocons and make them scared. The idea, as far as even nominating Matt Gaetz, is to get them terrified as to what's going on. Oh no, everything we're hiding is going to be exposed. I believe that's why Matt Gaetz would be there.
No, I mean, look, there are better wrecking balls than Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz comes with a lot of baggage and a lot of DOJ investigations on him, right? So I think that's where things kind of fall apart. I can't even imagine what the Senate hearing is going to look like. He's going to have to explain himself in the public and in front of senators of all the videotapes that we have on him and everything that he's ever done, anyone he's ever screwed over. I'm not big on this one. I think there are way better candidates like Ken Paxton, who I was voting for. I think he was shortlisted at some point to take over the role of AG. My political instincts tell me that, with Senate confirmation hearings, usually the first one you throw out is the one that you sacrifice. And then Trump will bring on someone who is an equally wrecking ball, but controllable, that is going to be less of a firebrand that the Senate will approve. That's my take on it.
That makes a lot of sense because you think about it. Or maybe just as much of a firebrand, but maybe a little more legally qualified. Correct. And then they'll be like, oh, well, I guess it won't be so bad bringing him in as long as it's not Matt Gaetz. That's a good political move. It's another troll, by the way. Great trolling.
Well, I think that's the play here, because just given the movements I've seen, given the bad press about Gaetz, and also Kevin McCarthy's behind a lot of this stuff, right? There's going to be videotapes. And I think that has always been the kind of the taunt of Matt Gaetz. And even Matt Gaetz in previous months have said talking about these videotapes, that he's not the only congressional member on them. So I wonder what that's about. So there's going to be a lot of that kind of taunting. Ultimately, Trump probably has a plan B in mind. And that may be, look, once you go through, I guess, the drama of Matt Gaetz and all the weeks leading up to the Senate hearing, if there is one, and I suspect he might even withdraw before then, is that the second runner-up may not be as bad. Even if it is super bad, you're like, okay, it's better than Matt Gaetz. That's the play.
Oh, there we go. And again, he's just going to keep trolling the left at this point. I think he's going to keep doing that a little bit. He's also trolled the UN, which I love this. I like Elise Stefanik as the UN ambassador. I hope that goes through because she will not take any of their crap. and Agenda 2030 will be pushed backwards once again. I like the idea that people are going to stand up to the UN and say, we reject your globalism, we reject Agenda 2030, and by the way, we also reject this new Pact for America as well that we were talking about in our first episode of Prime Roast. A lot to roast with the in the future.
Ah, that's right. That's right.
But I would love to see her as the UN ambassador. Just tell them off. That would be fantastic. Let's close this out with some more meltdowns from the left. These people are really having a hard time coping. There's one guy, there's some internet star that the kids seem to like. His name is David Pacman or something like that. And he's upset because after the left lost, I mean, they lost big. And a lot of people, he and other lefty YouTubers, I guess, were losing a lot of followers, if you will. But let's hear him try to cope with this one. It's worth a few laughs.
I'm going to tell you something that is terrifying me.
His hair?
His
I
mustache.
always
Was that
try to
baby
come here and put a
mustache?
positive face
Yeah,
on
it's-
everything. but there,
That's the kind of mustache you grow when you can't grow a mustache. That's right.
But what is
Peach fuzz.
that? It's like an M. It's like I've never seen anything like that. Is that like the 5
Something
p.m. growth?
Yeah. And like maybe a 3 p.m. shadow.
on that is terrifying me.
Terrifying. It's terrifying.
When I woke up this morning, we had lost 5,000 YouTube subscribers compared to where we were last night. Now, the first thing I thought was, is this a glitch? We've been on YouTube for 15 years or something
Denial.
like that. And subscribers always just go up. They just never go down. They go up. Is something wrong with my channel? Is someone attacking my channel? What's going on? So
It's always the other guy. You ever notice that? It's always somebody else. It's not your content. It's not the fact that you've been lying to people for years upon years and people have finally gotten sick and tired of it. Or it's not the fact that maybe people are tired of paying for your boring garbage over and over again. I mean, but people aren't paying to hear us. That's a good thing for them.
Yeah, no, you should like and subscribe Prime Roast TV, just to
Yes.
plug.
Yeah. Although we will be having some special members content very, very soon. At this point, though, like and subscribe to us here, and we would be very happy and grateful. Thank
Yeah.
you.
And unsubscribe David Pacman, who is going, cuckoo on the fact that he lost 5,000 subscribers. Now, look, remember, this generation, they live and breathe off likes and subscriptions.
Right.
And like they value their own self-worth based on how many people like them. It's a downward slope, you guys. This is like depression period now. Like if that's what your measurement for self-worth is, I'm sorry. Like I love our subscribers. I will always work for them.
Yeah,
And I
both-
will,
yeah.
yeah, we both will.
No,
Sorry,
both of
there's
them.
two of
Both,
us.
both of the, both of the subscribers. We love you. So-
We love you so much. No, we love that you like listen to our rants and like we have a lot of fun on the show. This guy clearly he's melting down because guess what? Maybe you just bought a lot of bots from Indonesia to like your show and they kind of went out of business. I don't
Ooh,
know.
that's gotta hurt. Let's hear a little bit more from this guy. He really is he's trying to cope. He's spent weeks trying to cope. He does put out a lot of content, and technically, his performance is actually pretty good from a strict performance level. So, as far as lefties go, he's watchable.
Okay.
started texting. And I texted Brian Tyler Cohen, and I texted Tyler Cohen and Brian Cohen and Brian Tyler, all of them. I texted all of them. I texted Jesse Dollimore. I texted Luke Beasley and Farron Cousins and Sam Cedar.
Yeah, I heard of Sam Cedar, I believe, but I think I heard one of those other guys too. But these must be famous lefty guys. But they're all trying to cope. But it must be some kind of coping circle.
And every single one of our channels since last night is hemorrhaging subscribers.
So again, people are just sick and tired of the lies and the gaslighting and all these promises from them, and that's it, all done.
So who's he blaming here? Exactly.
Everybody but the left and his policies. Everybody but himself as well.
Got it. Okay.
It's always everybody. It's like what the Democrats have been doing. It's always somebody else. It's Biden's fault. It was the people's fault. It was the media's fault. It was Joe Rogan's fault. That's why Kamala Harris lost. No, it was Kamala Harris's fault. It was because of her. It was the candidate. That's what it was. The candidate and the selection process. That's what lost the election. So sorry, Mr. Carville. I know you're blaming everybody else. You're blaming Biden. No, it was the crap candidate. And it was the party itself and its condescending tone towards regular people.
Do you think they'll ever get that, Chris? Do you think there'll ever be a video from liberals saying exactly what you just said?
Not unless it's from Jill Biden or what's her name, the chick who was married to Walls, reading it to them from a picture
When?
book. Yeah, Gwen Walls reading it to them from a picture book as if they were dictating some kind of like a kindergarten story hour, because that's how they enjoy being talked to.
Yeah, Chris, do you realize we have to coexist with people like this? Like pretty much, I think for the rest of our lives, I don't think they'll ever wake up. They enjoy this kind of misery that they surround themselves in. They enjoy being the victims over and over again. We have to live amongst that. I don't think we should spend our time curing them anymore. Maybe we should throw them all onto one platform and let them like dance around, and do whatever they do. I like it's fun to make fun of them, but at the same time, I don't think there's ever going to be a wake up call, because they don't have to make money. Right? They don't have to
They
I think
protect each
that's
other.
it.
That's their network. They all protect each other, but they still have trouble coping. Let's go to Sonny Hostin.
Oh,
Sonny, I mean, usually it's Joy Behar that's the loudmouth, annoying one, and Sonny's like the more soft-spoken, annoying one. So here she is, but she just can't cope with this election.
I saw some
asking
of
me
them.
saying that I don't know. What did you
I did
say?
look. I saw some of them because I think a lot of us are trying to figure out how this happened, right? And how it was such.
Figure out how it happened. Your policies stink. Your policies are inflationary, and you're condescending. That's how it happened. That's only the top three, by the way.
A landslide, not only for the electoral college, but also for the popular vote. And many voters who split their tickets pointed to two key things.
Mhm.
They pointed to the economy and also the conflict in Gaza, because I think there were some protest votes in terms of the conflict in Gaza.
Now, what I do is say she was coping, but they're also coping with the idea that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was whining on, I guess, TikTok or whatever the kids use these days, or the Snapchat, that people voted for both Trump and her, and it didn't make sense to her.
yeah, it doesn't make sense to me anyway.
It does. It does
It
because
does?
it does because people sometimes will vote for their representative that they've had for a long time, and they will vote for somebody else. Not everybody votes down party lines. And
Hmm.
I have to tell you, there are probably a lot of moderate Democrats who who voted Trump back in 16, didn't vote for Trump in 2020, and voted for Trump in 2024
A little
because of the
birdie.
candidates.
Yeah, a little birdie told me that AOC is running for president in 2028. She's being propositioned, and I think she should do it. I'd
Yeah.
love for her to get her out of Queens and the Bronx. She doesn't belong there.
She'll be there. She'll be there forever because she is going to get less. She's going to get less votes than Kamala Harris. Mark my words.
Let's see.
I still don't believe that this was about the price of eggs, because if it were about the price of eggs and the price of gas, I mean, Trump didn't address those during his rally. He didn't address those during his.
What rallies were you watching?
I address those issues every day. Every chance I get, I will tell you, eggs cost $1 a piece right now. That is certainly the same egg that I grew up on as a kid is now $1 a piece. So, again, Kamala's closing message to the American voters was abortion and I'm not orange man bad. That's not enough to get you the popular vote or any vote. And then Trump's message is, I care about your pocketbook, your savings, and your credit card bills.
And he said this at rallies, Angie. He has addressed the economy at rallies. He said he's going to try to bring prices down, at least inflation down, and that's the important thing. 4 years worth of high inflation is basically not a very good way to run a campaign, if you will, if you're Kamala Harris. And I know she's the one who tried to get away from economic issues. Yeah, she tossed around some free money ideas, and she copied the no tips on taxes thing from Trump. But let's hear Sonny a little bit more, and then I got some more, a little bit more coping, and we'll have some fun with that.
his campaign. He did address a microphone in a sexually explicit way, but he didn't do any of these things. And so I don't know that Democrats need to do a postmortem because, again, Republicans, after their devastating loss in 2020, didn't do a postmortem.
All right, let me just stop in this right here. It doesn't matter if you do a postmortem. What is this language here? A postmortem.
Oh,
You
I say
lost an
that.
election. You go and regroup. That's it. You just go and regroup.
Well,
You-
there's no, I like that she said that because it's very telling. It's like, okay, so the Democrats won't do an autopsy of what went wrong in the days and years leading up to election 2024. So they're going to repeat the same mistakes again because we don't have to do that. We don't have to do a postmortem. We're perfect. We're fine. We're in the right. Okay, so let's try that again in 2028. Oh, better yet, let's try that during the midterms where you will lose again. So let them keep to that strategy that never worked, has never worked, never will work, and let them keep losing and spending billions of dollars doing so. I'm good with that, Chris.
I'm also good with this. Maybe we should change our jobs. We can make $10 million as life coaches and help these people cope with losing the election.
I don't
We
want
can
to
tell
deal
them,
with
we can
these
tell them
guys.
there's another way. No, they'll hand over whatever money hand and fist because they think it can be printed anyway. So it's all good. We'll let them. This will be the prime roast, but it will also be a nice way to allow lefties to look at themselves and see how badly they're coping, so they can learn how to really do it like the rest of us. Go to work the next day. Don't. Okay, I would normally say don't film yourself, or don't tape yourself on TikTok or don't take to the airwaves and whine and cry about everything. But then again, if it wasn't for them doing that, there wouldn't be much material here now.
We wouldn't have a show.
Well,
No, look, well, thank you, Joy and Sunny and whoever that Pac-Man guy was.
Pac-Man.
It's funny. I'm going to start taping my eyelids open so that I can actually watch these shows because I can't digest a lot of just the language that's being used, the lingos, the words. It actually is like, screeching in my ears, but they are entertaining, and it does show a lot of insight into how to win races in the future for the Republican Party. So I will start watching them.
Exactly, and let's leave our audience with some of the fine meltdowns of the last week or so, just for a little bit of fun. So let's go to the videotape, if you will. This ought to be good for a few laughs.
So it looks like all the white women who voted for Trump are about to find out what Serena Joy went through when they cut off her little finger in The Handmaid's Tale.
And keep invoking The Handmaid's Tale when they don't realize that's pretty much what a communist socialist environment would be, instead of basically under Trump. Hey, have you ever had to dress in one of those Handmaid's Tale gowns or whatever?
Never,
There
ever.
we go. It's not going to happen to women at all, ever. At least not while Trump's here.
Because Trump's buddies are all over social media saying, hey, guess what? We are going to enact Project 2025, and Trump has just promised us all spots in his administration. Joke's on you. So have fun with that one, ladies, because we told you so. And when you are bleeding out in an...
All right. She goes on and goes on. She's really annoying. But look at the way she stands. She's standing like she's bending over you, like she's talking to a child.
Oh,
See, notice the
yeah.
pattern with all these lefty whiners. They're always talking to people, whether it be on their own side or people they're talking or trying to lecture as if they're all children.
Yeah, and I see her like kneeled over. She's talking to you like you're a kindergartner.
Yep. Now let's go to another genius here before we sign off here. And let's hear from this guy. The tough guy. Look at the tattoos of the beard. He's all tough, and you know how you can tell he's tough because he wears his cap backwards. So he's not only is he tough, but he's in style.
He's like New Kids on the Block.
Who think they're cute by saying your body, my choice. Just understand that there's plenty of us
Ooh, that's a gun sound.
that take protecting the freedoms of our sisters, mothers, daughters, wives, girlfriends, the women in our life, very seriously. You guys aren't the only ones that are going to keep that on them. So go ahead, Fuck around and find out.
Those are Proud Boy words. That's what the Proud Boys say.
That's a threat. And without the earring in his nose or the bull ring or whatever he thinks he has, it's he does look like a Proud Boy, I guess. Funny thing, maybe he should be watching more instead of lecturing us about I don't know, about his take on politics and threatening us. Perhaps he should take a look at himself. Maybe cut down on the pizzas a little bit, there, guy, and. Well, stop whining. Cut down on the soy, cut down on the pizzas, and accept the fact that you lost an election just once.
Why would you go about making threats on social media with a gun? I mean, this is what the prosecutors are going to be using in a few weeks' time, right? This is just like, wow, you're asking for it. I hope he's lawyered up.
Well, back then, if you were a conservative and you made and you maybe even joked about something like that 2 or 3 years ago on X or Twitter, or maybe 4 or 5 years ago on X or Twitter, and you would have been canceled or banned. Even if you just said, "Here's a water pistol, we're going to squirt you." All right, I mean, I might be exaggerating the point, but you know where I'm coming from.
Look, I mean, honestly, you take that to the courts and you get an injunction on this guy only because of that one video. I mean, that's threatening gun violence. He's an idiot. He's got to just go away.
The reason why is because we never take these people seriously, because they're always all talk, and they're just look. We don't take them seriously. We just laugh at them, and I guess that's what they're here for us. The meltdowns, the everything else, the coping. We're going to enjoy it for the next few weeks, and we're going to have a lot more fun next week too, Angie. So thank you all for joining us here on Prime Roast, and we'd like to hear what you think. Please like and subscribe, and leave some comments. And yes, we'll be back once again. We'll have some more guests pretty soon too, like guest roasters. So that's going to be even more fun.
Oh my gosh, it would be amazing. This show always makes me so hungry because I'm staring at the Prime Roast. I'm going to get some lunch. Thanks, guys, for watching. Bye.